Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. This week on Carl's Off the Grid, I'm going to show you how to save a little bit of money while you're doing your finished work. And specifically, this video is going to be about me trimming out and casing out the windows up at the cabin. But before we get into it, I wanted to show you a tool. The folks over at Vivor reached out to me when they heard in my last video that I was going to be doing some finished carpentry work, and they gave me this planer to go ahead and try, and all that they asked is that I share it with you guys on the channel. So I'm going to quick show you this, and then we're going to go into how we're finishing the windows at the off-grid cabin. So this planer is a 12.5-inch planer, and it can go as small as 3/8 and go all the way up to 6 inches thick of lumber. Very basic, just like all the rest of your planers. This is going to be more of an introductory level planer. This is not a production planer for you bigger guys who know what you're doing. This is for hobbyists, weekenders like me. The price is very, very affordable. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to this, an Amazon link with a price in it. But before you shop Amazon, know what you're getting into. Sometimes the only downside I've heard of this product is because it's an Amazon link. If people ever needed service, sometimes it's a little hard to get service. But just be smart and do your homework before you purchase. So what I've done a little bit of a modification. The back, this thing comes standard with just a dust kick, that shoots out the back. They do have one where if you're not using a shop vac, or an attachment that comes with this, where if you're not using a shop vac, you can put that attachment on. Did you step on a frog? But or you can get, we modified the version that they give us. I put on an 1.5-inch fern coat with a little bit of PVC pipe. The one thing that I noticed might be an issue is when we send our boards through, if this shop vac hose was just connected straight on, your boards are going to hit the hose. So being the plumber I am, I just grabbed an 1.5-inch 90, that fern coat, and I'm going to be collecting my dust off to the side. Now when we send the board through, the board will clear everything. We should be just fine. So all right, let's get into it and we'll see how this planer works. All right, so here's your pro tip of the week. The reason that this tool is so important to me is when I went ahead and I bought the lumber for the windows, all the lumber that we found had these dents and dings in it. And this is top grade lumber. If I were to purchase this lumber from just the 5 windows that I'm doing at the cabin, the bill came out to I think $245, and that's outrageous. We're building this cabin supposedly on a budget, and I wanted to show people how to save money. So here's how I saved money. I don't know, I'm going to show the camera up close, and I don't know if it's going to adjust, but all right, I don't know if you can see it, but there's dents and dings all over this fine lumber.
Go up here too.
And
on the edges are.
Yep, the edges are all nicked up. Everything is all smashed up. So I talked to the guy at the big box store, and I said, is there any way I can get a break on all these damaged pieces? We have some pieces that are damaged from forklifts, and other ones are just damaged from idiots that are ravaging through the wood pile trying to find their best. So I got these at a huge discount because they're damaged, and what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and run it through the planer, and we'll just take a little bit off, and by doing that, I can bring this finish back to being perfect. So, all right, let's run her through the planer. Alright, so you can see this is a high grade quality board, and all the nicks and dents and bruises are taken out of the lumber. So we were able to buy this at a huge discount because it was damaged. And with the help of this planer, you can see it's just 1,000 times better. We have great quality, probably better than most of the quality that they have on the shelves. So I just wanted to bring this little pro tip up to you guys and let you know that this is available out there. Like I said earlier, I'll leave a link to this in the video description. And if you are looking to save some money at your cabin, this is a great way of doing it. Buy decent trim. If it has a slight blemish or damage to it, send it through a planer. You seen that took me all of maybe 30 seconds to do, and now I've got a top quality board again. So, all right, let's get back to the cabin. So last night when we got up to the cabin, it took probably a good 3.5-4 hours to bring the cabin up to maybe the mid 50s. And it usually doesn't take that long to heat up, but oh man, that whole cabin was iced up bad. You know, all the interior is frigid, cold, and everything like that. So it took a little bit before it got to be comfortable. But this morning I woke up, I think it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had to start opening windows because by 2 o'clock it was about 80 degrees in the cabin. So, all right, I'm gonna keep my eyes on the road. Let's go hit that quick breakfast at Grandma Sally's, and then we'll hit the store across the street from it because I need to pick up some finishing nails. Breakfast was good as usual, so let's head back to the cabin and get to work on those windows. So what I'm going to be doing is, this is going to be the windowsill. I want to have a windowsill that sticks out about an inch and an eighth. And so I've measured out the depth of my windowsill here, got a little bit board that's a little bit bigger, and I'm going to make this all one piece. Since these two windows are side by side, it's the only place in the whole cabin where my windows are this close. And let me show you how I'm doing this. So to simply get my measurements on where I have to cut out this this windowsill, because I have this bump out here, we have to go around there. And I thought about all these different tools that they make where you can stick it in the tool in there and it leaves you a pattern on the tool, and you put it down on your board and trace it, and all that stuff is good and nice, but I don't have the time to kill, waste looking for that tool or whatever. So instead I'm just going to use a regular square. Went ahead, put it tight against the wall, made sure that it was squared off, and then I made a mark down here, and then I repeated the process by making a mark over here and making a mark over there. And then I had measured it, and this is exactly 4 inches deep with my tongue and groove paneling that I have on there. So I simply just put the square, speed square on there, and I measured 4 inches, made my mark, and then that's where I'm going to be cutting out, and that's where I'll go ahead and get my pieces cut out. Okay, and for this connecting cut, I went ahead and I drilled a hole that I can use to make that corner. But before we do that, let's just finish these corners here. Obviously the skill saw doesn't cut a perfect up and down line through this wood, and that's why I'm using the jigsaw. Okay, that one's all done. And these joints in here are right there, are nice and square. So let's follow up with this side. And once we get this side done, then we can go ahead and dry fit it and see how it fits. My measurements were pretty precise. Remember, I am a plumber, I'm not a carpenter. So hopefully we don't have too much trouble here. What I'm going to do is I am using my little nailer with 1.25 inch finishing nails. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to nail this off to where I'm going to have my trim pieces coming down so that you don't see nails all over the place. It's a little bit of a trick getting the gun to fit in there. But here again, we're putting the nails all in places where nobody will be able to see them. Everything's going to be hid. Let's go ahead and do one of the smaller windows, and then after I do that one on video, I'm just going to go ahead and quick knock out the other two, and I'll show you what they all look like at the end. Nice. All right, top and bottom done. Let's go ahead and we'll do the sides. for a pretty good project to do on a Saturday. It was easy to do by myself once I was up here. I'm grateful for my wife. I do have to mention what she helped me out with the staining of the wood at home. The wife and I had date night on Thursday night, and this was our project. Sorry for the camera moving all over the place, but wanted to show you. We went ahead and put polyurethane on all this and got it all prepared. So that's when I head up to the cabin this weekend, we don't have to worry about handling any of this stuff in the bitter cold. And then also, my buddy Wildroot, Bob, thank you so much for letting me use your table saw. Some of these boards I did have to rip down, and I've got to give him the credit. He's always been a great friend of mine and a great mentor, and let me come over to his house and rip some of these boards down. But thank you guys so much for joining me this week on Carl's Off the Grid. I feel so grateful to have this stuff all done, and I have to tell you, I don't know if the camera brings it justice, but when you're here in real life, and I look around, this is a totally different world now inside the cabin. It just makes it so much cleaner and a nice finished look, and I'm grateful to have this part finally done. And it's been a long time in the making, but it's finally done. I still have to trim around the door. And I have to trim around the back door. That's kind of out of my league. Many of you know that I'm friends with Wiley from Wandering Wiley, and he's an exceptional carpenter, and I watched him do all of his windows and his treatments, and he's kind of silently coached me on the side. I might have to ask him to help me with that stuff. Maybe I can barter work. I know I've kind of let him down. I wanted to get back out to, or get out to his place. I still haven't got there. And I thought maybe it'd be nice if, I could ever get off work. I want to get out there and see what his cabin looks like and be able to help him a little bit with his plumbing. Maybe we can barter some of this work. So, all right, guys, thanks again. Appreciate your support. We'll catch you next time on Carl's Off the Grid.